Hey everyone, it's Irfan, and let's talk about something crucial happening right now. A massive power shift in the global economy. We're talking about BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, going head-to-head with the United States. For decades, the US dollar has been king, but BRICS is looking to change that. They're growing in economic power, challenging the existing financial system. Think about it. BRICS countries make up over 40% of the world's population, and their economies are absolutely booming. They're not just content being participants in a US-dominated system anymore. They want to create their own rules. This means a potential new world reserve currency, a shift away from the US dollar in international trade, and a whole lot of uncertainty for the global economy. So if you're invested in stocks, real estate, or even just trying to plan for your financial future, this is a big deal. In this video, we're diving deep into the BRICS challenge, what it means for your money, and how you can prepare for the future. Let's get into it. For the longest time, the United States has enjoyed this position of economic dominance. The US dollar is the world's reserve currency, meaning it's used for most international transactions. But here's the thing, BRICS nations are catching up, and fast. Their economies are growing at a much faster rate than the US, and they're starting to flex their muscles on the global stage. We're talking about countries with massive populations, tons of natural resources, and rapidly developing industries. Together they have a ton of economic clout, and they're not afraid to use it. One of the biggest concerns for the US is that BRICS is actively working to reduce its dependence on the US dollar. They're doing this by increasing trade in their own currencies, establishing their own financial institutions, and creating alternatives to the SWIFT payment system, which is currently dominated by the US. Now you might be thinking, okay, but how does this actually impact the US? Well, imagine a world where the US dollar is no longer the dominant currency for international trade. That means less demand for US Treasury bonds, which could drive up interest rates in the US, reduced purchasing power for American consumers, leading to higher prices for imported goods, and a potential decline in the influence of the US on the global stage. It's a gradual process, but the writing's on the wall. BRICS is serious about challenging the status quo and creating a multipolar world order. And for the US, that means playing by a new set of rules that might not be so favorable. Imagine this. You wake up one morning, check the news, and bam! There's a new kid on the block, the BRICS currency. Now this isn't some far-fetched idea. It's a real possibility that could shake the foundation of the global financial system. Think about it. Right now, over 60% of global transactions are done in US dollars. That gives the US huge influence. It's why they call it the world's reserve currency. But if BRICS creates their own currency and starts trading oil, gas, and other commodities in it, well, the demand for the US dollar could plummet. And when demand drops, so does value. This isn't just theoretical. We're already seeing the early stages of this shift. Russia and China are increasingly trading in their own currencies, cutting out the US dollar entirely. India is buying discounted oil from Russia using rupees. Even Saudi Arabia, a longtime US ally, is considering accepting yuan for oil, a move that could send shockwaves through global markets. Now let's talk about what this means for you, because a weaker US dollar affects everyone. We're talking about higher prices for imported goods, since your dollar won't buy as much. Your investments could take a hit, especially if you're heavily invested in US companies that rely on international trade. And let's not forget about inflation. A weaker dollar means the Fed might raise interest rates to try and control it, making borrowing more expensive. The bottom line is this: the BRICS currency, even if it starts small, has the potential to disrupt the entire global financial system. It's like a game of Jenga. Remove the wrong block, or in this case, the dollar's dominance, and the whole thing could come crashing down. Chapter 3. The Oil War and the Petro-dollar. Is this the end? Let's talk about oil, the lifeblood of the global economy. For decades, oil has been traded primarily in US dollars. This petrodollar system has been a cornerstone of US economic dominance. But guess what? BRICS nations are looking for ways to ditch the dollar, even when it comes to oil. China, the world's largest oil importer, is in talks with Saudi Arabia to buy oil using yuan. Russia, another oil giant, is exploring a gold-backed currency for oil sales. If these moves gain traction, it could seriously weaken the petrodollar system. This isn't just about economics, it's about geopolitics. Control over the oil trade equals massive influence on the world stage. Right now, the US benefits from that control. But BRICS wants to change that. A decline in the petrodollar would mean less demand for US dollars, potentially leading to inflation and a weaker US economy. It could also diminish the influence of the US in the Middle East and other oil-producing regions. Now you might be thinking, what can the US do about this? Well, they're not just going to sit back and watch. The US is likely to increase domestic oil production, strengthen alliances with other oil-producing countries, and explore alternative energy sources to reduce reliance on foreign oil. But here's the thing, even if the US takes these steps, the petrodollar system might never be the same. The world is changing, and BRICS is driving that change. For investors, this means paying close attention to how the oil trade evolves, considering investments in renewable energy, and diversifying portfolios to reduce exposure to US dollar risk. The petrodollar era might be coming to an end. The question is, what comes next? Chapter 4, Crypto, the wild card in the BRICS versus USA showdown. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, cryptocurrency. Could crypto be the secret weapon in this economic battle between BRICS and the US? Here's why it matters. Crypto, especially Bitcoin, has the potential to be a truly global, decentralized currency. It operates independently of any government or central bank, which is a huge deal in a world where countries are vying for financial control. BRICS nations are already making moves in the crypto space. Russia is exploring blockchain-based trade settlements to reduce reliance on the US dollar. China is developing its own digital yuan, which could be used for international transactions. Brazil is launching a digital currency to facilitate cross-border payments. Now imagine a scenario where BRICS nations start using their own CBDCs or even Bitcoin for trade. This would bypass the US dollar entirely, creating a parallel financial system where the US has little to no control. For crypto investors, this is a potential game changer. Increased adoption of CBDCs by BRICS nations could legitimize the entire crypto space. We could see a surge in demand for Bitcoin as a neutral, decentralized alternative to both the US dollar and BRICS currencies. This is a rapidly evolving situation, but one thing is clear. Crypto is a wild card in this global power struggle. It has the potential to disrupt traditional finance and reshape the global monetary system. My advice? Pay close attention to how BRICS nations integrate crypto into their economies. This could be the start of a major shift in how we think about money and finance. Chapter 5. How the BRICS versus USA showdown affects you. Okay, we've talked about BRICS, the US dollar, oil, even crypto, but you're probably thinking, how does all this impact me personally? Here's the deal. Whether you realize it or not, this global power shift has huge implications for your everyday life. Let's break it down. First off, your wallet could feel the pinch. If the US dollar weakens, imported goods get more expensive. That means everything from clothes to electronics could cost more. And let's not forget about travel. Your dollar won't stretch as far if you're planning a trip abroad. Then there's the investment angle. A weaker US dollar could hurt your investments, especially if you're heavily invested in US companies that do a lot of business overseas. On the flip side, it could create opportunities in emerging markets like BRICS nations. Here's the good news. This shift isn't happening overnight. It's a gradual process, which means you have time to adapt and adjust your financial strategy. Here are a few things to consider. Diversification is key. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Consider investing in a mix of assets, including international stocks, bonds, and even alternative investments like gold or crypto. Keep an eye on the Fed. The Federal Reserve's actions can have a ripple effect throughout the economy. Pay attention to interest rate hikes, inflation reports, and other economic indicators. Stay informed. The world is changing rapidly. Stay up to date on global events, economic trends, and how BRICS nations are challenging the existing order. The bottom line is this. We're living through a historic period of economic transition. The decisions made by BRICS and the US will shape the future of the global economy for decades to come. By understanding the forces at play, you can make informed decisions about your money and position yourself for success, no matter what the future holds. Chapter 6. The Future of Finance. Are you ready? So there you have it. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the rise of BRICS to the potential decline of the US dollar, and the role crypto might play in all of this. The big question is, what happens next? Will BRICS succeed in dethroning the US dollar? Will we see a new global reserve currency emerge? Will crypto become the go-to form of money in this new world order? Only time will tell how this plays out. But one thing is for sure. The global financial system is at a crossroads. The decisions made by governments, businesses, and individuals in the coming years will determine the course of the global economy for generations to come. If you found this video insightful and you want to stay ahead of the curve on all things finance, crypto, and the global economy, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. The future is here, and it's virtual, world time. So, what's next? Will BRICS dethrone the US dollar? Will crypto play a major role? This battle for financial supremacy is far from over. What do you think? Will BRICS replace the dollar, or will the US maintain dominance? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Found this video valuable? Like, share, and subscribe to Coinbot AI for deep dives into AI, crypto, and the global economy. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. The future is here and it's virtual, world time. See you in the next one.